Every single organization, I don't care if it's a tiny startup or a global giant, it really runs on just one thing. It's people. So if you want to understand business, you absolutely have to understand how those people are managed. Today, we are diving deep into the world of human resources management. Right, let's kick things off with this core idea. As CB Memoria says here, when you boil it all down, management is just about people. Now, that's not just some feel-good quote, it's a really critical concept. It means that human resources, or HR, isn't just a department tucked away somewhere. It's actually a fundamental skill for every single person who leads a team. I absolutely love this image because it just perfectly captures the whole thing. The success of any company really depends on how well it assembles and manages its human capital. And that's just a fancy way of saying the collective knowledge, skills, and talents of everyone who works there. It's like a giant, complex puzzle, and the biggest win comes from getting all the right pieces to fit together perfectly. And that right there, that people puzzle, is the fundamental reason that human resources management, or HRM, even exists. It was created to solve exactly that. Okay, so let's shift from the big picture philosophy to the real world practicalities. What is human resources management really? Let's nail down a clear definition. So, this definition, which kind of combines the ideas of experts like Gary Dessler, is fascinating because of how much it covers. See, HRM isn't just one task, it's the entire process, the whole journey of an employee, from finding them in the first place to helping them grow, paying them what they're worth, and making sure their well being and their rights are totally protected. That's a fantastic question, and you're not alone if you're thinking that. It's really easy to hear HR and just think it's a new, modern name for the old personnel department. But there's a huge difference in how they think about people. So this is the key. It's all about a massive shift in philosophy. The old personnel management was mostly just administrative. It looked at employees as a line item, a cost to be managed and controlled. Think about training, right? The old way of thinking saw training as an expense you had to pay to get a task done. But modern HRM, it's strategic. It sees employees as valuable assets that you should invest in. From this point of view, that same training isn't a cost, it's an investment. It makes the employee better, more valuable, and better equipped to help the company grow. The whole focus is on mutual benefit, where both the person and the company come out ahead. All right, so now that we've got a handle on what HRM is, let's dig into its purpose. What is it really trying to do? What's its mission at the end of the day? At its heart, the mission of HR is a really delicate balancing act. It's not just there to serve the company, and it's not just there to serve the employees. It's there to serve both. It has to somehow take these often competing needs and find a path forward that works for everybody. And this table just lays that balancing act out perfectly. Look, on one side, you've got employees who want to be recognized, they want job security, they want good leadership. But on the other side, management is trying to keep costs down and get the most productivity out of people. HRM's job is to be the bridge between these two worlds, trying to satisfy both sides to create an environment that's both stable and really productive. So if we boil all that down, these are the main goals. HLM is trying to use people to hit the company's targets, for sure. But it's also working just as hard to develop those people, to meet their needs, and to keep morale high. It really is a dual responsibility, caring for the business and caring for the people. Okay, let's get practical and open up the HR playbook. We've talked about the what and the why. Now let's look at the how. What are the core things HR actually does day to day? Probably the easiest way to wrap your head around all the different functions of HR is to just think about them as following the employee's entire journey with a company, from the day they are hired to the day they leave. So here's how that whole life cycle breaks down. First, you've got acquisition. That's all about planning, finding, and hiring the best people for the job. Once they're in the door, you move to development, getting them up to speed, training them, and appraising their performance to help them grow. Next up is compensation, which is making sure their pay and benefits are fair, competitive, and make sense. And finally, you have maintenance and relations, which is kind of the catch-all for workplace safety, handling employee issues, and making sure everything is legal. See, it's a pretty logical flow that covers the whole shebang. And listen, this isn't just some abstract theory. If you actually look at the org chart for a real HR department, you'll see these functions come to life. You'll literally see teams for recruitment, for compensation and benefits, for employee relations, for training. Each one is a specialist in one of those key stages of the employee life cycle we just walked through. All right, for this last section, let's shift our perspective a bit because modern HR is so much more than just taking off a list of functions. It has truly evolved to become a critical strategic partner for the entire business. And this evolution, it has a name, Strategic Human Resource Management, or SHRM. This is where HR stops being reactive, just putting out fires, and starts being proactive, actually helping to shape and drive the company's future. So what does that mean in plain English? It means linking every single decision you make about people, who you hire, how you train them, the way you reward them, directly to the company's big long-term goals. For instance, think about a luxury hotel. Their business strategy depends on amazing customer service. Strategic HRM makes sure that their recruiting, their training, their pay, everything is designed to attract and create employees who deliver that incredible service. It becomes a huge competitive advantage. And that brings us to one final, really big question to chew on. In the past, it was simple. The company's strategy told you how to use your people. But today, is it the other way around? In our economy, a company's talent is often its most powerful weapon. And that talent isn't just there to execute a strategy. More and more, it's the source of the strategy itself. And that, right there, is why understanding all of this has never been more important.